The solution Find Your Voice habit and the sweet spot explains that your voice lies at the intersection of your talent, passion, conscience, and what the world needs. This concept is not merely a poetic philosophy. It's a roadmap to unlocking one's unique purpose and contribution in the world. To find your voice is to discover that one path where your natural gifts, deep interests, inner sense of right and wrong, and societal demands come together in harmony. In this place, you don't feel drained by your work. You feel alive, focused, and purposeful. The process of discovering your voice is less about chasing external success and more about aligning yourself internally, so your efforts carry authenticity and long-term fulfillment. Each individual is born with innate gifts, certain talents that come more naturally to them than to others. These talents may be obvious in some cases, such as musical ability, mathematical reasoning, physical coordination, or artistic creativity. In other cases, the talent may be subtler, such as emotional intelligence, deep empathy, the ability to organize chaos, or the gift of leadership. Recognizing these talents often requires both self-awareness and feedback from others. Many people fail to see their talents because they undervalue what comes easy to them. But just because something feels effortless does not mean it is unimportant. On the contrary, those effortless gifts are precisely what signal potential excellence. The more you explore your natural tendencies and invest in sharpening those innate strengths, the closer you come to your true voice. Passion is equally crucial. Talent alone does not guarantee fulfillment. There are countless people who are extremely good at something, but feel hollow and unfulfilled because they do not love what they do. Passion fuels persistence. It is the emotional energy that keeps you going through hardship, monotony, and setbacks. When you're passionate about something, you don't count the hours or question the struggle. Instead, you are immersed and energized by the process itself. Passion gives direction to talent. It helps you answer not just what you are good at, but what you should be doing with those gifts. Passion also helps create resilience. A person who is deeply passionate about their work will keep trying even when the road becomes difficult. They see obstacles as part of the journey, not as signs to quit. When passion meets talent, you begin to experience a flow state, a level of engagement so deep that time disappears, and your full self is invested in the task. Conscience plays a role that grounds this intersection in ethical integrity. While talent and passion can lead a person far, it is conscience that ensures their journey is meaningful and just. Conscience is the inner compass that guides our decisions, warns us when we stray, and affirms us when we act in line with our values. Without conscience, talent and passion can be used for selfish or harmful ends. History is full of examples of talented individuals with deep passions who caused damage because they were disconnected from moral integrity. Conscience connects us to a higher purpose. It asks, is this right? And does this serve others? It roots ambition in service and transforms personal goals into contributions to the greater good. Following your conscience doesn't always mean choosing the easy path. In fact, it often demands courage, sacrifice, and humility. But it is conscience that gives your voice credibility. People trust and follow those who align their actions with their principles. Then there is the fourth dimension, what the world needs. You may have a gift, feel passionate about it, and hold strong moral values, but if your offering does not meet a real human need, it may never find relevance. The world is constantly evolving, And with that evolution come new challenges, new problems, and new voids to be filled. Finding your voice also means becoming a student of the world, understanding what is broken, what is missing, and what people hunger for. The solution isn't to blindly chase trends or pander to popular demand, but to look for a place where your talents and passions can meet genuine needs in a way that serves others meaningfully. This creates a dynamic balance between self-fulfillment and societal contribution. It transforms success from being a personal milestone into something that elevates others, too. The most impactful legacies are built not by those who pursued their dreams in isolation, but by those who used their dreams to inspire, heal, teach, and uplift others. These four elements, talent, passion, conscience, and need, when brought together, form the sweet spot Covey speaks of. This sweet spot is not static. It evolves as you grow, as the world changes, and as your understanding deepens. Finding your voice, therefore, is not a one-time event. It's a continual journey of self-discovery, refinement, realignment, and renewal. The more time you spend in this sweet spot, the more deeply you understand yourself, and the more effectively you can contribute to the world around you. Living in your voice does not mean you won't face difficulties, but it does mean that those difficulties will have meaning. It means your struggles won't be in vain because they're tied to something larger than yourself. To move toward this sweet spot, you must first begin by listening to yourself and to others. Listen to your inner dialogue, what excites you, what frustrates you, what makes you feel most alive. These clues are often buried under the noise of expectations, societal norms, or the pressures of routine life. You must also listen to others, what they compliment you on, what they seek your help for, and what feedback they give. Sometimes others see our strengths more clearly than we do. Listening doesn't require immediate action, but it does demand attentiveness. It is the first step toward clarity. Next, you must experiment and take initiative. Voice is not found in isolation or overthinking. It is discovered through action. Trying new things, even if they seem out of your comfort zone, can be revelatory. A new hobby, job, or volunteer role might uncover hidden strengths or ignite passions you never knew existed. Similarly, reflecting on past experiences can help identify patterns. What kinds of projects have you most enjoyed? What kinds of problems do you naturally gravitate toward solving? These patterns help sketch a rough map of your unique voice. The map may not be complete, but it provides a direction. Equally important is embracing failure as part of the process. Not every attempt will yield clarity. In fact, some choices may lead to confusion or discouragement. But even in missteps, there is insight. Knowing what doesn't work is as valuable as knowing what does. Voice is not perfection. It is authenticity. And authenticity often emerges from trial, error, adjustment, and persistence. Every stumble brings you closer to refinement. Each failed attempt brings new insight about your values, your skills, and your true motivations. Once you begin to identify your voice, the next step is to nurture and develop it. This means committing to mastery. Talent without discipline fades. Passion without skill leads to frustration. Voice requires intentional investment. This might mean formal education, practice, mentorship, or simply hours of focused work. You must refine your skills until they match your aspirations. You must study those who inspire you, but not to imitate them, to learn the principles that made them effective and apply them to your unique context. Nurturing your voice also means creating habits and environments that support growth. Surround yourself with those who challenge and uplift you. Remove distractions that dull your focus. Invest in routines that energize rather than drain you. Another key dimension in developing your voice is courage. The courage to be different, the courage to stand up for what you believe, the courage to keep going when others don't understand. Voice is not always popular. In fact, the more authentic your voice becomes, the more likely it will challenge status quo or discomfort others. But silence is not safety. Suppressing your voice leads to disconnection, both from yourself and from those you might influence. To find and use your voice means to risk vulnerability, to share ideas, express beliefs, and take action even when the outcome is uncertain. Courage does not mean absence of fear. It means movement despite fear, guided by values. Over time, as you live more consistently in your voice, you begin to experience a powerful sense of coherence. Your thoughts, words, and actions align. Your relationships deepen because they are rooted in honesty and trust. Your contributions gain impact because they are fueled by authenticity and purpose. Others begin to recognize your voice not as loud or flashy, but as clear, sincere, and dependable. Influence follows naturally. You don't need to manipulate or persuade because your life itself becomes evidence of what you believe. Your voice becomes a light, not one that demands attention, but one that quietly invites others to find their own. One of the most profound elements of this concept is its potential for ripple effect. When you find your voice, you inspire others to find theirs. In a world where conformity and silence are often rewarded, those who live and lead authentically give others permission to do the same. Your courage breeds courage. Your growth nurtures others' growth. This is how communities are transformed, not by force, but by the quiet accumulation of individuals who choose to live with purpose and integrity. As you find your own voice and begin to use it with intention, you become an agent of renewal, igniting voices around you. This creates a cycle of empowerment, where people help each other rise and discover their place in the world. This solution is not exclusive to certain professions or stages of life. Whether you're a teacher, entrepreneur, artist, doctor, student, parent, or worker, you have a voice. Your voice does not depend on your title, income, or status. It is about influence, not position. It is about contribution, not control. Every environment needs people who are anchored in their unique gifts and willing to offer them for the benefit of others. When leaders find their voice, teams become more innovative. When teachers find their voice, students become more inspired. When parents find their voice, families become more connected. Voice is not a luxury, it is a necessity for wholeness and progress in every sphere of life. Moreover, finding your voice brings deep personal peace. There is a kind of suffering that comes from not living your truth. It manifests as anxiety, boredom, burnout, or depression. These are often signals, not of personal failure, but of misalignment. The body and spirit rebel when we drift too far from who we are meant to be. When you live in your voice, that internal conflict begins to quiet. You feel grounded, centered, and empowered. Peace does not mean ease or the absence of conflict. It means you are no longer at war with yourself. This peace strengthens you to face external storms with clarity and resilience. You stop comparing your path to others and focus instead on making your path meaningful. Ultimately, finding your voice is about fulfilling your stewardship in life. It is about recognizing that your existence is not random, that you are here for a reason with specific gifts and a role to play. Voice is the expression of that role. It is the answer to the question, what was I born to do, and how can I do it well? When you begin to live in alignment with that answer, life becomes more than survival. It becomes significance. This significance is not loud or boastful. It is steady, humble, and impactful. It lifts others. It heals wounds. It brings clarity. It inspires action. By focusing on the sweet spot of talent, passion, conscience, and need, you move from reacting to life toward leading it. You transition from living someone else's expectations to writing your own story. You shift from scarcity and insecurity to abundance and confidence. You understand that your value does not come from being like everyone else, but from being exactly who you are, fully and unapologetically. And in this space, you unlock not just personal success, but also collective transformation.